Remember, the supraspinatus tendon is the most commonly involved in rotator cuff issues. In my mind, when someone comes in the clinic with a shoulder injury, the supraspinatus is guilty unless proven innocent. And I got a couple tricks to figure out how involved the supraspinatus tendon is. One is a muscle test when they bring their arm up to here, if that's painful. Oftentimes that indicates supraspinatus involvement. What I also try to do is get a little bit of a stretch out of it. It's a difficult muscle to stretch, but I'm going to show you what I do. In this example, my right arm is the affected arm. So first I have them check the left arm, and I want to see how far their arm can come behind their back. If you can kind of visualize that, that gives us a little bit of a stretch through here, and it gives me an idea of what it feels like. Then I'll grab the affected arm and I'll see how far I can bring it back. Oftentimes on the affected arm, if they have a supraspinatus issue, it's either tighter, painful, or there's more of a sensation of a stretch along the outer side. So that's one way to tell that there's a little bit of involvement in the supraspinatus. Now let's talk about cross-friction massage to the supraspinatus tendon. So we've identified that there's a little bit of tightness in that supraspinatus. Maybe there's a little bit of pain when I try to do a muscle contraction or resist external rotation. So we have to figure out the landmark of where that supraspinatus muscle comes in and attaches onto the top part of this humeral head. It's a little challenging to get to, but this is what I tell my clients. The supraspinatus tendon inserts a little bit lateral to the bicep tendon. So what you want to do is find that bicep tendon where this black line is, and then you're going to go just a little bit to the outside of that. What's easiest is if you take that arm and rest it a little bit behind your back. And what that does is it tends to bring that shoulder a little bit forward, internally rotates it, and it pops out that top part of the humeral head. Your arm goes behind your back. Find the bicipital tendon. Where I've put the X is where the supraspinatus insertion site is. Cross one finger over the other, and then you're going to go transverse to that. And just play around with it. We know it's in this area. And anything that's tender, we're going to work. Oftentimes you'll hit the roof of the acromion, and you can just feel that. Now, if it is not tender, don't worry about it. But more than likely, if it is tender, that means you have some involvement of that supraspinatus tendon. And then what it's going to involve is, it's a back and forth. Now the pressure should be a little tender, but it should not be excruciating. And I'm going to work this transversely across the tendon for about a minute. Why am I doing a cross-friction massage? Because it helps to break up scar tissue as well as improving circulation in that area, and it just helps to loosen up this whole joint. After I work it for a minute, I'm just going to let it stop and I'm just going to let it relax, kind of go through a little bit of range of motion, see how it feels. And as long as it's working in the right direction, as long as it's feeling a little bit better, we'll do that a total of 3 times. So your hand goes behind your back once again, find the bicipital tendon, go a little bit laterally to that, cross your fingers if you need to, kind of search around in this area. For me, it's right there. And then I'm going to work this for once again about a minute. Remember, it shouldn't be terribly painful, and you need to put enough pressure to actually move the skin over that tendon. 1 minute, take a break, repeat that 3 times. And then when we're done, we're going to see if we can go a little bit further into that stretch. And oftentimes you'll be able to go a little bit further with that stretch.